Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Mr. Leon Artwork. In this episode, basically, I have taken a picture of a cloud, and basically what I'm kind of doing here is a collab with nature. So I went ahead and took that picture and printed it out, edited the image to be lighter and black and white in certain areas. So here I'm just basically sketching down what I saw in the clouds. So first I am going ahead and drawing the monk holding a book with a pen feather. A good way to view this kind of artwork is kind of to use the pareidolia effect to your advantage. Basically, the pareidolia effect is seeing faces where there isn't, and in this case, I see figures where there isn't, but those figures come to life whenever I sketch them into the cloud work or a paint splotch on the ground, for example. The monk himself and the book and the feather pen are basically being drawn out from my own mind. Here I'm just placing in the lining to make the figure pop out from the clouds themselves, giving the clouds, I guess you could say, details or shapes. Adding in shading as I go. This artwork will only be in black and white. This artwork actually reminds me of one I have already posted on Facebook, for example, which is called Pain in the Woods, which is basically the same example of drawings, just using the pareidolia effect to my advantage. So this is the only reference I'm really using for the tortoise. Turtles are pretty easy to draw, so I just want to know exactly, for example, what the shape of the carapace is, as well as legs and the head, just to make sure I have certain things right or proportions right in order to get that into my drawing. So basically the monk will be sitting on top of the tortoise as they're basically moving through a dark forest, or at least one where little light actually makes it through the canopies of the higher trees. You can see here I'm kind of thinking, twiddling my finger with the pencil, trying to figure out exactly where I want each slab of or part of the carapace to be, since tortoises are known to have the divisions on their backs. This is actually a fairly big species of tortoise, which is the galapagostortoise. It is one of my favorite tortoises out there. Sometimes these images I have of clouds or paint splotches that I find are saved in my phone for a long time and don't come to life for months on end. So this one has been in my phone for almost a year and a half now, and finally I could actually come around to it to actually lay it down on paper. Once I've got the lining right, I start adding in the shading in the areas where the carapace slabs kind of join together, and make sure I start adding in the detail as I go. So now we go with the details of the head. The tortoise is basically looking down at the ground or in front of him, so the head will be looking down in a different perspective. Start out with the leg. There should be two in this drawing. The thing is, one is in the shading and the other one's exposed to the light. And each leg obviously has to have their own reptile-like skin, so I start adding that in as well, like little circles that kind of join together, but at the same time are completely different from each other to give it more of that realistic look to it. I'm always going back and forth between the turtle and the monk and the background as I'm thinking of what I want to actually place in the artwork itself. So you'll see me going back and forth trying to add details where I believe details are needed. Besides the scales, that includes grass features, bark features, as well as mushroom features that I will start adding into the background as well. As I've always mentioned, don't be afraid to use the eraser, that's what it's for. Here I'm trying to add the second tortoise leg, but it is behind or within the shadow. I want to make it kind of seem like the monk is within a forest, so I'm adding also kind of like tree details. Obviously, a monk can be very patient at times and can be very meditative, and there's no hurry to do so, so that's kind of why he's on top of the tortoise as well. Here goes the bark marks. Every time you see me twiddle, I guess you could say, my finger with the pencil, I'm actually thinking, trying to figure out what else to place on the paper. Here, I wanted to add a little bit more details to the monk, so I'm adding a travel pack that he's carrying along with the tortoise. Wanted to add some more foliage to the background, twiddling my fingers trying to think of what kind of foliage, and then moving forward with the actual foliage themselves, or a little bit more of the background. Twiddle, twiddle, twiddle. These splotches over here, I thought they would be great to kind of show those big kind of leaves you find in the rainforest. So I went ahead and drew that and outlined those, several of them. Kind of like if they were in the shade and as if the sun was hitting them at the same time as they're passing by. Adding in details I feel I missed. And the foliage I ended up going for is that kind of like corn doggish kind of a plant that you find next to rivers or bodies of water. So that's kind of what I wanted to place in that spot after I really thought about it. Adding the bark marks that kind of appear like they're spotlighted by the sun. Adding in final details, shading, lining. Twiddle, twiddle, twiddle. Trying to think of what to do. And there we go. Hope you enjoyed. Like, share, and subscribe. Hope to see you soon.